Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And we need to go back to our month objectives here. Let's get some reminders out. Our June book, Drop the Rock. I have to get back to reading that. I've listened to I think one chapter. So I need to get on that. We've still got 9 days. I'm not sure. I can't remember which day I'm going over it, but we've got 9 days till the end of the month. So Drop the Rock, get it on Audible, listen to it on your way into work or on your outdoor walks. And it's a good little read. Talks about letting go. And yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay. And then the June listener challenge is Healthy Habits Challenge. So we've been doing a new healthy habit for 30 days. So if you still want to join in, do it for 9 days. That's better than doing it for no days. So these healthy habits could be drinking more water or taking a daily walk, reducing screen time. There was a guy in my sobriety network who he would not read the news past 6 p.m. every day. So there's another one. I have been reading 1 page of something per day, something on paper. So that's been pretty good. Actually, I've been reading, most of it's been on paper, and I've had a couple things that I've read on the computer screen, but it's really been about a page. Yeah. So, yeah, reducing your sugar intake. We've got one of our listeners who has been trying to go to bed before 10:30. And she says, yesterday she told me she did it twice in a row. And I'm telling you, that is success. That's what success looks like for real. That's what we're doing. You don't have to do it perfectly. It's progress, not perfection. So today's topic is my chiroquactors. So I'm doing a story time. My niece came to visit me today and we went to the pool and I said, oh, I don't know what my topic is today. And I thought about doing living with structure. That was really what came out of my morning meeting this morning, but I wasn't feeling passionate about it. Maybe tomorrow I'll be passionate about that topic, but I'm not today. And she said, how about story time? I love when you did story time. So she reminded me that my last story time was about getting my appendix out. So we're doing another story time, and this one is my chiropractors. That's what we're calling it. I've been to lots of chiropractors, and I am not of the belief that they're all quacks. I just think it's a brilliant title for a podcast episode. But I have run across one that I'm not a fan of recently. So I'm going to talk about my experience with chiropractors, and maybe you'll get something out of it. Maybe we all have backs and we all have back pain, it seems like. So we can all learn from each other. So my niece was enlightening me with where chiropractic care came from. First of all, let's rewind slightly. We couldn't figure out what the word is for it. So we called it chiropractic C. Chiropractic C. Because I was like, I don't know what it's called. And I probably should have Googled it before I started the episode, but when I was talking to ChatGPT, otherwise known as Chatty McChatterton, he called it chiropractic care. So I guess that's what we can call it, or chiropractic C. Okay, so what she told me is a little different than what ChatGPT told me. But who are we going to trust, my niece or ChatGPT? I don't know. I honestly don't know who to trust. But I'm going to tell you what my niece told me. Sorry, Em, but I'm going to tell you what my niece told me. And then I asked ChatGPT about what my niece told me and got some answers. So let's just see where this ends up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I learned from Chatty McChatterton about the history of chiropractic C, otherwise known as chiropractic care. And then I'm going to tell you about my chiropractors that I have seen. From what I recall, I have seen 4 chiropractors in my lifetime. I think that is it. So I'll talk about each one, what I learned from each one, and why the last one is what I've been calling a chiroquactor. Okay. So there's a guy named Daniel David Palmer, who we can call him lovingly DD Palmer. And he is the founder of chiropractic care. He was involved in, okay, wait. So my sister, my niece, my sister's daughter, told me that, sorry, I'm totally just calling you out. She said that she read on the interwebs that he was in a seance and got some sort of something message about chiropractic care or some vision or something like that. And then there was also a conversation about maybe he had a dream about it. So I asked Chatty McChatterton about where did chiropractic care start? And then when it answered me, it didn't say anything about seances. So I asked it directly about DD Palmer being involved in seances. So I'm going to tell you what he Chatty McChatterton told me this evening. So DD Palmer, the founder of chiropractic care, was in fact involved in spiritualism and seances. Before he developed chiropractic care, Palmer practiced various forms of alternative healing. And this included something called magnetic healing, which is something that my niece mentioned, I remember today. I've been a little flighty today. My head is not feeling good. We went to the pool, lots of stimulation. So yeah, I'm trying to remember what we talked about. But magnetic healing also involves the hands to manipulate the body's magnetic fields, which was believed to promote healing. And so I said, well, isn't there something else that's out there these days that has to do with energy, like energy healing? And I think there's a lot of stuff. So we were talking about different kinds of, like, there's somebody that I knew when I lived out in Charlestown, West Virginia, who believed in this touch healing thing. And I don't remember, I think that's what it's called, touch healing. And they say to, like, I can cure anything just by touching you in certain ways. I specifically remember somebody talking to me about that. And I was thinking, you're cray cray. But I am not telling anyone out there who believes in that they are crazy. I'm just saying, at the time that somebody said it to me, that is what went through my mind. Um, so, Palmer's interest in spiritualism was very much consistent with the era's fascination in the supernatural. So, spiritualism, which gained popularity in the mid 19th century, involved communicating with spirits and mediums and having these seances. And Palmer's involvement in spiritualism likely influenced his development of the chiropractic philosophy, which incorporated ideas about the body's innate healing abilities and the flow of vital energy. So that's really interesting to me because that is not what any of my chiropractors have talked about with me. None. So this origination of chiropractic if that's truly where the influence came from, that has been lost, at least in the ones that I've gone to. So in addition to Palmer's magnetic healing practices, his exploration of spiritualism and metaphysical concepts contributed to his holistic approach to health and healing. While his spiritual beliefs were not the central focus of chiropractic care, they did play a role in shaping his understanding of health and the human body's capabilities. So maybe that's why these chiropractors that I have don't really talk about spiritualism and stuff like that. So the practice of chiropractic care focuses on the diagnosis and treatment of mechanical disorders of the musculoskeletal system, particularly the spine. And so here is an overview of the timeline of the origins of chiropractic care. So the practice is primarily attributed to this guy, D.D. Palmer, and he was a self-educated, I repeat, self-educated healer who was interested in various health practices. That's fine. You can be a self-educated healer. I am not making fun of anybody in this podcast episode. I'm just kind of alluding to the fact that the chiropractic thing seemed to have been born not from a medical educational foundation, but let's see. Let's move on and see what happens. This is exciting. So in 1895, Palmer performed what is considered his first chiropractic adjustment. So the story goes that Palmer adjusted the spine of a janitor. And again, remember, this is from Chatty McChatterton. This whole story could be completely fake. It's from Chatty McChatterton. Okay, so Palmer adjusted the spine of a janitor named Harvey Lillard, okay, who had reportedly lost his hearing 17 years earlier. After the adjustment that Palmer gave him, Lillard claimed that his hearing improved. So this event is often cited as the founding moment of chiropractic care. Interesting, huh? It's interesting because what I'm thinking of is my vestibular system has to do, it includes your ears. Like just recently, actually right before I hit record, I have been noticing that I've been starting to have more ringing in my ears, which is called tinnitus. And it's something that's often correlated to vestibular disorders. And it's just kind of been a little odd that I'm noticing it a lot more. And I don't know if I'm just hyper aware because I've been hearing these people in my support groups talking about tinnitus and ringing in your ears. So I've always had ringing in my ears. Anyway, interesting, because if this guy got his hearing back because he got adjusted, I'm like, maybe I do need to go to a chiropractor. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. So, Palmer believed that many diseases were caused by misalignments of the spine, and that interfered with the body's innate ability to heal itself. Okay, so he theorized that by adjusting these misalignments, the body could restore its natural function and heal without the need for drugs or surgery. Palmer's philosophy combined the elements of various health practices of that time, and that includes bone setting, magnetic healing, and I don't know what this is, naturopathy. We'll have to look that up. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Chatty McChatterton what naturopathy is. I'm not sure. It's Naturo pathy. Okay, so the establishment of chiropractic, as a profession, don't go around calling it chiropractic after you listen to this podcast. That word has been made up. I want to tell you that I made it up myself. Okay. In 1897, Palmer founded the Palmer School of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, to teach his methods and philosophy. This school became the foundation for the chiropractic profession. So Palmer's son, Bartlett Joshua Palmer, BJ, also became a prominent figure in the field and played a significant role in expanding and promoting chiropractic care. So BJ introduced some new techniques and theories, further developing the practice. This is really interesting to me. So the chiropractic profession grew rapidly early in the 20th century, despite facing significant opposition from the medical establishment. And chiropractors were often accused of practicing medicine without a license. And that led to a lot of legal battles. So this is something that my niece and I were talking about, how, and I mean, honestly, when I am all the times that I've wanted to go to the chiropractor because I simply want somebody to crack my back because it feels good, I've had somebody say, they're not real doctors every time. So over time, chiropractic care gained recognition and legitimacy. The establishment of professional organizations standardized education and state licensing laws to help formalize the practice. So today, chiropractic care is widely recognized as a complementary and alternative medicine practice. Chiropractors undergo rigorous training and education now, including obtaining a doctor of chiropractic, in degree. Okay, so they have to get a degree now, right? No, it doesn't say they have to. It just says that they do. They undergo this rigorous training and education, including obtaining a Doctor of Chiropractic degree. So maybe they have to. But chiropractic care is commonly used to treat back pain, neck pain, headaches, and other musculoskeletal issues. It's based on a holistic approach, and it emphasizes the body's ability to heal itself, and the importance of maintaining proper spinal alignment. Okay, so let's do a real timeline here. There will be no test after this. Here are the key milestones, and then we're going to get into my chiroquactors. 1895, that's when D.D. Palmer did his first chiropractic adjustment of the janitor guy, Harvey. And then in 1897, which is only 2 years later, okay, he started the school, the Palmer School of Chiropractic in Iowa. In the early 20th century, BJ, the son, expands and promotes this chiropractic care with new techniques and theories. It doesn't talk about, and I'm sure you could look on the interwebs, or I could ask Chatty McChatterton in greater detail, how they came about expanding this techniques and theories, or if they were just making shit up, I don't know. But in the 1920s through the 1960s, that's when the chiropractic care faced a lot of the legal challenges and opposition from medical establishments. And then it was gradually gaining recognition in the 1960s. In 1974, which just happens to be the magical year that I was born, the Council of Chiropractic Education was recognized by the U.S. Department of Education, and that's what helped to start standardizing the chiropractic education. In 1987, which was a fine year, I happened to be in 7th grade in 1987, the American Medical Association loses an antitrust lawsuit which accused it of conspiring to undermine the chiropractic profession. So chiropractic has evolved significantly over all of these years and is now an integral part of healthcare. And today it's practiced worldwide and continues to evolve with advancements in medical knowledge and techniques. So right there is how it is now evolving with medical knowledge. So let's talk about my chiropractors and chiroquactors. Okay, so it's story time. So when I first had my kids, I had very large babies. I had very fat, couldn't sit up, took a long time to walk, chunksters. And due to the chunkiness of the babies, I had a terrible back after they were born, just from picking them up and carrying them around. They were like carrying around my English bulldog. Seriously. So I injured my back when I was young from picking them up. I had my kids when I was 23, yeah, was when I had my son. And so that's pretty young to hurt your back. And it's like I just continuously injure it all the time. Whenever I bend over and pick something up, if I'm not paying attention, I don't bend at the knees and all that stuff that we hear, I will re-injure my back. And so I've done it many, many times over the years. I've re-injured my back. And I also carry a ton of stress in my shoulders, like right here in these muscles, like um, the muscles that get really huge on bodybuilders that are right on top of your uh, shoulders behind your neck, those things. It constantly hurts all the time. Um, so let's see. I don't want to jump ahead to my recent chiropractor, but there are a few answers that he gave me that I don't know. I question everything that this guy said to me now. But anyway, so yeah, re-injuring the bottom of my back all the time. When I was growing up, my mom, I'm sure, remembers my struggle. I always had back pain in the middle of my back. And so much that like when we would go to the grocery store, which I followed my mom everywhere. So we would go to the grocery store and my back would just hurt so bad from standing around and walking around that I would have to like fold over and bend down, and just kind of collapse my back. It would hurt so bad. Now I've learned that, and those of you who are actually watching the video, notice how much I try to straighten up and I stretch my back out because I know now that when my back hurts, I actually have to open my chest, not close my chest and bend over. Sometimes though, it hurts so bad, I just have to like sit on the floor. It hurts so bad. I do not have scoliosis. One of the doctors, one of the chiropractors told me that my spine twists like what would be something that twists? Like it twists vertically and then twists back again. I can't think of an example right now, but anyway, but it does not curve in a way that would be scoliosis. But it can be excruciating. And I've had it my whole life. So when I finally started, of course, I didn't do anything about it my whole life. But when I finally had this back pain after I had my kids, I went to a chiropractor. Okay, this is my first chiropractor, and it was in Herndon, Virginia. And I'm not going to share who these people are because I'm not trying to trash people, but and I don't even know if they're still in practice or anything like that. But this was so long ago. And so I went to this chiropractor, and when I would go in, they had this like bed that's the first thing that you would do is you have about 10 minutes or so on this massage bed. So you just lay down and it was heated and the whole bed had like a rolly thing and it would just massage your back. Like I loved it. It was fantastic. And then I would go, when it was time for me, I would go into his office or, where the cracking table was. And I would go in there and he would do the adjustment. So that's the first time I actually had my neck cracked, which was very unsettling. And he had a hard time cracking my neck because I just was not willing to loosen up and let him crack it. But he did. And it really felt good when he would do it. But I can see that being addicting to get your neck cracked by this guy. And in fact, I feel very strongly about this, that the more I go to a chiropractor, the more I'm able to crack my back. So after I went to this Herndon chiropractor, I started to be able to like move my neck in ways and it would like crack my neck. So it was like things loosened up and then I could just crack it on my own. So there's one way that I started to crack my back way back then. I'm 49 right now. I'll be 50 next month. And um, what was my point? Oh, so I was probably like in my 30, I guess I was in my 20s. And that's how long I've been cracking my back on my own now, because it happened when I started going to this guy. I wouldn't say there was anything necessarily sketchy about this one. I actually liked him. He seemed to know what he was talking about. He gave me exercises. One of them was to lay across my bed on my stomach with my head hanging off the bed face down, and lift my head so that my neck was straight, so I'm hanging my neck down, hanging my head down, and then lifting my head up so that my spine is straight with my neck, and then dropping my head back down. So they're head lifts. And I would have to do, I don't know, 10 of them, 20, I'm not quite sure, 15, no idea. So I would have to do that once a day. And then he had the same stretches where you open your chest. That's when I started learning that when your back hurts, you need to do the opposite of what I was doing, which was folding in. You need to fold out, like open up your chest. And that's actually what your muscles need, not to bend in. I also learned that to stop looking at the ground when I walk. I still look at the ground after all this time. I have a really long neck, and I don't know, is that weird? I have a long neck, and I tend to look down all the time. That's a lot of weight that's being pulled down. And over the years, I've gotten to look at these posters, on the wall at the chiropractor office, and you see which muscles are all connected to the others, and how you can kind of tell by looking at those, how if I'm holding my neck down, looking at the ground, how that's actually pulling all the way down to the middle of my back, which just happens to be exactly where my back hurts all the time. So, the more I look up and look straight, the less the middle of my back hurts. But it's hard, there's a lot of stuff that I do that requires me to look down. And one thing would be walking my chunky puppy, and my adorable princess puppy too, and cooking, and doing the laundry is terrible. Like holding your arms up in front of you while you're folding is terrible for my back. Cooking, baking, computer, all of the stuff is just terrible for my back. So I've been thinking actually over the past week, like, why am I not spending more time working on my back, like doing exercises and stuff? Because it's not fun. That's probably why. But anyway, this is a good topic for me, maybe to drill that into my head. So Herndon chiropractor, I'm going to give him a thumbs up. He was pretty good. He, I think, taught me a lot about how to help my posture, how to work on strengthening my neck and my upper back, and stretches. And honestly, I still do the things that he told me to this day. And that was like 30 years ago. So that's pretty awesome. So thumbs up, Herndon chiropractor. Way to go. Next, Charlestown chiroquactor. Okay. I'm not going to say where this guy was, but chiroquactor in Charlestown was, okay, I'm just going to tell you, he was not just a chiropractor. He was also Santa Claus at the mall. He was a fire volunteer person. And there was something else. Have you ever met those people who, my husband is one of them, or was in the past, who want to get certified in everything? You know, like they want to get certified to do weddings. They want to be a certified chiropractor. They want to be able to be a captain of a ship. They want to have a certification to drive a school bus. They like just random shit that they want to do. Like that's what this chiropractor guy was. Okay, so I go to this chiropractor. So at this time, I would say it was in Charlestown. I think my daughter went with me, and I feel like she was in middle school. So I'm not going to put the years together. I don't know. My daughter's 22 now. So she was like in middle school. And I go into this chiropractor. I'm sure I just injured my back again. That was when honestly, I was doing a lot of laundry back then when my daughter was in middle school. And that would mean my son was just starting high school. So there was a lot of laundry, and laundry's always been terrible, and dishes and all of that stuff. So I think I was in a lot of pain from housework. That's what I think. And yard work and all of that stuff. So I go to this chiropractor and I walk in, and the office was like upstairs in one of these. It was upstairs in a building. I don't want to tell you where it is. It was upstairs in a building. And I go in, and there's like there's a waiting room, and there's a desk where you like a receptionist would sit if there was a receptionist. And then off to the side, there's another room with a door, and it had like a chiropractor cracking alignment, I should say, table in there. Okay. I walk in, I look through the receptionist desk. I am not kidding, there are folders and paperwork everywhere. I mean, it was not filed away. It was not, aligned horizontally or vertically. There was no filing cabinet. Nothing. There was just manila folders and paperwork. It looked like it was patient files. That's what it looked like. And there were hundreds of them everywhere, just piles of them. Like, have you ever seen the hoarding, one of the hoarding shows? Like, that's what it looked like. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening in here? There's no receptionist, nothing. So the guy comes out, and I think his daughter was with him. Yeah. So his daughter was with him. So his daughter goes and sits in the chair where a receptionist would sit. And he's like, come on back. So I go back, and my daughter goes, oh, I'm allowed to say her name. She's like one of the few I can say her name. Bailey goes back with me, and she sits in the chair to observe. And so I just get started. Like, he does the same thing that the guy in Herndon did, where he's like, you know, looking at my alignment. I had to do a couple different exercises, movements in order for him to see, like, is one leg longer than the other? And am I crooked? Is one shoulder higher than the other? All that stuff. Same thing, same exact thing that the Herndon guy did. And then he just cracked me. And that was it. And he's like, okay, that'll be $35. And I can't remember if they filed insurance for me or not. I think that most of the chiropractors I went to, except for my very last chiropractor, did not file insurance for you. You had to file it yourself. Okay. So, which is a pain in the ass. Okay, so that I went to that guy for a couple months, I think, and the paperwork never changed. It was always exactly the same. His daughter was not always there. He was a really, really nice guy, really nice guy. And to this day, I still see him out doing things like if I go out there to Charlestown, I'll see him dressed up as Santa somewhere or doing some sort of volunteer for something. He's always doing something. Anyway, it's his side gig to be a chiropractor. Anyway, I just stopped going, I think, after a while because it was like $35 and I had two kids and it was just enough. Felt like I think I started feeling better, or this could have been one of the times that I, again, like once I would start going and getting adjusted, then I would start being able to crack myself. And so that might be why I stopped. Or it could be that there were two times that I went to a chiropractor where I actually was more prone to injury after going to the chiropractor. I think because it just loosened everything up or something. I'm not quite sure, but I think that was one of the times that I actually injured myself, so I stopped going. I don't know. One of the times that happened. Okay, next. This is the second to the last one, if you're bored. Okay, so the next one is Harper's Ferry. Harper's Ferry chiropractor. We're not going to call her a quactor. She was awesome. Awesome. So it was a legit place. She had receptionists. She had other physical therapists there. She was like a physical therapist and chiropractor or something like that. And she was legit. And actually, I brought my son in there as well. I forgot about that. So I think he got adjusted a couple times too. And so I went in there, same thing. She evaluated me, checked my alignment, did cracking, gave me, or alignment, gave me exercises, like real exercises, with like a roller thing. This is when the roller thing started coming out, where you can lay on your back and roll your muscles, either your legs or your back or whatever. So she showed me how to use this roller thing, which I had one at home. And she was great. I don't remember why I stopped going to her. I think that one was because I had to file my own insurance, file it with insurance, and I was just kind of sick of doing that. It was a pain in the butt. But she also had a partnership with a massage therapist, and that is my favorite thing in the world. So, not my favorite thing in the world, but I love it. So, I would go there on off weeks and go get a massage. So, they really were working everything out. And I have to say that was probably the best that I had been ever with my back, is when I was getting all that attention. But it was a lot of money too, you know? So that was in Harper's Ferry. Again, Harper's Ferry chiropractor, thumbs up, best one I have found. Okay, the last one is my most recent chiropractor, and this one is in Reston. And let's just tell you what happened. So I went in, and the reason why is because Boris, the English bulldog, hurt my back twice. He is 70 pounds and he's low to the ground. And if that little guy wants to go somewhere, he's going to use all of his might to go. Yes, he is trained. And yes, if I have his e-collar on, he will not do that. Not that I shock him, I jiggle him. But he didn't have it on. And Bailey came home to visit. And I just happened to be outside with him, and he pulled, and I swear, just pulled the muscles from my neck all the way down my back. Now, I had already injured those muscles because Autumn, the Weimaraner, was not trained and used to just absolutely, yeah. I mean, there was one time I was with my friend and we were hiking, and Autumn just started running. She was a puppy. She just started running. I didn't have her trained. She was on a long leash, and she ran as fast as she could until the leash stopped and my shoulder like pulled forward. And that was the original most recent injury. So she's 4 now. She'll be 4 next month. And that was my muscles all the way from the bottom of my right side of my back all the way up my neck. So that is now the thing that keeps getting injured, which Boris just injured. So because Boris just injured it, I had been putting up with it, but I really just, I couldn't even walk at this point. So we got a reference from a friend, and I went to this Reston chiropractor. And the first thing that this guy did was he put me on this machine, and you just stand on it, and it does this laser thing, and it figures out what orthotics you need. Okay. And then you can pay $500 for 2 sets of orthotics. That's a deal, not. So I was like, yeah, I already knew I was going to get orthotics because the person who referred us told me that he got orthotics. So I'm like, all right, well, if he did it, I'll do it. So I already knew that that expense was coming. And I had gone to a running store back when I was running, and I had insoles for my shoes back then. These are just like the, VIP version of my running insoles. So I have 2 pairs of orthotics now, and honestly, the orthotics are really good for me. If I wear my tennis shoes with more orthotics in when I'm cooking, it helps my back a lot. So I really wear my tennis shoes with my orthotics all day, and that is really helpful. Okay, so orthotics, thumbs up. I didn't need the chiropractor for that. I probably could have just sought out orthotics. Okay, so moving on. That's the first thing I did with this guy. Next is he uses this like TENS machine. So it's one of those electric pulse machines, and they put the little patches on your back and turn it on, turn it up, and it tightens your muscles. I think he does it for about 15 minutes or so. So I had 2 up by my shoulders and 2 down in my lower back where I'm had the most pain. And he just cranks that thing on for 15 minutes, and you lay face down on this alignment table, and your muscles, like my shoulders, he had it turned up the first time so high. I didn't know he was waiting for me to say, yeah, that's good. So he turned it up really high and my shoulders just like hit my ears. But so he turned it down. And then he does that for 15 minutes. And the first time it was awkward and I didn't like it. And it actually kind of hurt my neck a little bit. Probably because he had it on too high. But after that, the next times I went, it was pretty relaxing to have that TENS machine on. So he leaves the room and you sit on this table or you lay face down on the table for about 15 minutes. And then he comes back in, he turns off the TENS machine, takes those things off. And then he tells me then he goes up to my shoulders and like, how can I explain this? It's like he's kneading dough. Okay. And he's like, he takes his hand, the base of his hand, and pushes over my shoulder blade from my spine to the side of me. Like he's pushing my muscles over, but he's not pushing hard enough that it feels good. He's not pushing hard enough that I feel any muscles even moving. It's like he's pushing my skin over. That's what it was. It was very odd. But the noises he was making when he was doing it were like he was having a workout. It was really strange. Anyway, he would do that every time. Then, and of course doesn't explain to me what he's doing, which I can't stand. Like, I want all doctors to tell me exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. So then he's like, okay, now you turn over. So I lay on my back and he goes up to my neck and turns my neck in a way where the same way that they turn it when they're gonna crack you, but he doesn't crack me. He turns my neck that way and then slowly pushes my head as so that my ear touches my shoulder as close as he can get it. And then and he does it on each side like 4 times. And my neck has been so tight that it's like pinching and I'm like scrunching my face up and everything. And then that's it. That's it. And he's like, okay, we'll see you again in 2 days. And I'm like, okay. So all I did was I sit on that machine thing for 15 minutes and then he moves my skin on my back and then he like turns my neck to stretch it. And I'm like, I can do this at home. Like I bought one of those TENS machines and my vestibular therapist gave me all of my stretches that I need for my neck and strengthening exercises for my neck. So all the things that he's doing is just like, I don't get it. I don't get. Okay, so that's one thing. And I went for a couple months. And then so I asked him one time when I went in, after probably 5 weeks or something like that, and I was going twice a week. He wanted me to come 3 times a week. I'm not doing that because it's hard enough for me to get in the car and ride over there without wanting to vomit because of my vestibular disorder. So I asked him, so what's the plan? So I go in this one time and I'm like, what's the plan? How long are we going to keep doing this same thing? The TENS machine, the whatever he's trying to do on my back to move my muscles or skin. I obviously he was trying to move my muscles, but he wasn't pushing hard enough. And doing the, my mind just went blank, and doing the neck stretches. And he would not answer my question. Like, he would not be straightforward and answer my question. He would say, well, what we're doing here is we really want to get your flexibility worked on. We're going to do the flexibility, and we'll do that for a bit longer. And then I really want to start working on core exercises. That's it. That's how he answers my question. So then I go back I go for a couple more weeks, at least 1 week. And then I ask him the question again. Okay. So how much longer, like I asked him specifically, so there's no way that he cannot answer my question with a number, okay? How much longer, how many more weeks, I think I said, how many more weeks will we be doing this activity that we're doing when I come here? And he answered the exact same way and he did not give me. So then I said, so how frequently do you know, like I was asking for numbers, never gave them to me. Then he said, I really want to get you on the all core 360 machine. So he has this machine there that's like it looks like you're an astronaut. You sit in, you buckle into this thing, and it moves slowly, and it moves you like on your side and stuff. Well, I don't know if my vestibular disorder is going to handle that, or would have been able to handle that. But he's like, it should be fine. And it moves really slow. And the point of it is it works on your core, because you're holding your core in one place while the machine, moves you. So gravity is working on you. And you can look it up. It's like a NASA machine for chiropractic care or something. It's called the All Core 360. So he said he was going to put me on that. I asked him, is it the same cost? And he said that, well, we'll talk about pricing later. And so what it turned out is he has a partnership with the orthotics company, and that's the machine he put me on for me to get orthotics. He also has a partnership with the TENS machine, whatever that's called, I don't know. So that's the other thing he puts me on for 15 minutes. And then once he can get my ear to my shoulder, then he's going to put me on the All Core 360 machine, which, guess what? He has a partnership with them too. So I never actually got adjusted, like nothing. He didn't ever do anything. It was always through the partnerships. Like, I really feel like this guy was getting money from these machines and wasn't actually doing anything, like medically certified, anything. I think he's a doctor of chiropractic. So I don't know, but so I finally, when I asked him straightforward and I worded it, I planned how I was going to word this so that he actually had to answer me with numbers. And he didn't, and he avoided the answer. He not only avoided answering my questions directly, but when we were done and he did the stretching thing of my neck at the end of that session, he walked out of the door. Usually he used to walk me to the front desk. On that particular one, he walked out of the room without me and went to the front desk. And then when I was passing him as I was going to the front desk, he wouldn't even look at me. And he said, I'll see you next time. And that was it. I was like, I'm not coming back here. I didn't say that to him. I just was like, I'm not coming back here. So anyway, so that's my latest chiropractor. So what did I learn? Well, what I learned is that as much as I love getting cracked by a chiropractor, I don't think it's good for my back. It seems to make me more prone to injury. I think what's better for my back is exercise. I have one of those TENS machines. I bought it on Amazon, and when I use it, that's when my back hurts the least that day. So I think what I need is consistent use. Um, and I will probably have more good days. Stretching, I do stretches every night before I go to bed. And they're like old school stretches that you learn in elementary school stretches. Those are the best ones, are the ones we learn when we're growing up. I do my push-ups, and the reason why is because it warms up all of these muscles in my shoulders, and it makes them kind of relax before I'm going to bed. I do a plank every night I count to 45 breaths. So I think it probably ends up to be about a minute and 15 seconds or something like that. So I do that every night. Minus one night a week, I don't do the plank and the push-ups to allow myself to rest. What I would like to do is, I know you guys have heard me talk about this for a year, yoga. I would love to get back into yoga, but for some reason, I just cannot get myself to do that. That's probably when my back has felt the best, aside from the Harper's Ferry women that I was going to, the massage therapist and the Harper's Ferry chiropractor. Yoga, I used to do every single day at 4 o'clock. I was working from home, and it was just great. So I would love to do that. I have a big, gigantic exercise ball, and I got some of those like rubber straps, and I did like a couple weeks where I was doing core exercises with those, and I actually felt that it was doing good, and then I stopped. So consistency, I'm telling you, consistency. Look at that. I thought about doing the topic about living with structure in our lives, and I wasn't passionate about it, but yet here we are talking about having some sort of exercise structure. So, and then finally, my sponsor has been talking to me about acupuncture, and I'm considering it actually, just to see, my headache specialist neurologist wants me to do Botox for my head. And I think I'm more apt or more, well, can't think of the word, but I'm more interested in doing acupuncture than I am Botox. For some reason, I know everybody's doing Botox these days, but it does not sound right to me to do Botox, that you're injecting something into your body that is turning off the muscular, tension that my body wants to do. I don't know. It's toxins. I'm not a fan. And obviously I need to learn more about it, but I'm going to go see my stroke neurologist first before I do anything else. Although I might do some acupuncture. So we'll see. So there you have it. I hope that you found as much entertainment. I don't know how long this episode was, but about the chiroquactors in my life, as I did reminiscing on them. So again, I am not dissing, we'll say, anybody who goes to chiropractors, anybody who does acupuncture, anybody who does anything spiritual or any of that stuff. I freedom for all. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I gotta go to bed. I'll talk to you tomorrow.